I'm selling this 2023 690 Enduro. It has about 2,700 miles on it. I put it together thinking BDRs. It has done some BDRs. It's in Florida now. It has been to Vermont, New Hampshire. It's been to Northern California. Did the NorCal BDR, some other riding, camping in the redwoods, that kind of thing. It's a great bike. It has lots of upgrades, so I thought I'd go through them. The most obvious thing is this tower from Rotor Garage. The reason I put that on there primarily is to take the wind load off my torso. This thing will cruise at 100 miles an hour if you want to, and you got a lot of wind loading on your upper body at that speed, or even 80 if you're on the interstate. And this takes most of that off. The wind still hits you at the top of your helmet. Of course, your arms are in the airstream, but your upper body, man, it just takes a lot of the pressure off of you if you're going to be on the road for an hour or two. And of course, it's a convenient place to carry your stuff or to mount things too. I only have this Garmin Zumo XT. This is going to stay with the bike. This is a good unit. It's not the most recent current version, but it's a nice unit and works great. It's secured to the bike with this little locking mechanism. Otherwise, when you get get the camera pointed right. Otherwise, you just come along, you just press this button, and the thing will pop right off the bike. Which means every time you go in a restaurant or whatever, you have to take it with you. But with this little lock, you don't have to. It's just a pin that goes in there, and there's a special key. This key right here. And that goes in there. If you want to take it off, it's easy to get off. But if you don't have the key, it is not easy to get off. We tried to get it off one time at my buddy's house, and we tried for 20 minutes to get that thing out of there with tools, and we could not figure out a way to get it out of there. We tried a bunch of different stuff. So it's pretty secure. I got this little tusk bag in there. This hadn't been on there very long. I had a different bag, but I like this. It fits in there nice, it's soft, but it's big enough to put a phone in and wallet and whatever else I might have in my pockets when I'm out and about. Quick and easy to get to, etc. The bike has got these flag style hand guards. I had the KTM wraparound guards on here, but I ended up putting these on. I watched a video with Jeff Slavens talking about them. I thought they looked cool. Good idea. I like the fact that they're open. There's nothing, your hands aren't kind of constrained inside the bar ends. These are the thicker ADV version. These are made of UHMW, which is pretty much bulletproof. But you're at risk of bending levers. Everybody has bent levers, I'm sure. And so I put these Rotor Garage short levers on there, and with these, basically you get 2 fingers on there, and I like them. I think they're pretty cool. I wasn't sure I would like only being able to get 2 fingers on the levers, but I find that it's not a problem at all. It feels really secure, and then of course you've got the short clutch lever as well. So again, nothing to it. It's got these bar ends from Tusk, I think, and it's got KTM heated grips. So the heated grips are on this, here's the controller. It's got multiple levels of heat. These are the KTM OEM versions. I got my finger in there. The KTM versions, I kind of thought, well, I just want to get the ones direct from the manufacturer. Put those on. I made a little bracket here to go on it. To mount that, because I also needed to get this for a rally where it was required that you have a route sheet holder. So that is on there. And it's also got cruise control from Veridian. This is really cool, and I have to say, when you're on the interstate or a highway for a couple of hours on a BDR or something, man, it sure is nice to have cruise control. So that was a really, really useful addition. It's got double take mirrors. This one's mounted, this one's not. I've got it in the garage. It'll go on here. You know, they're good mirrors. I tried a couple of different things with mirrors. These are big, they're cheap, they flop easily out of the way. They're easy to adjust. They make a newer version everybody swears by, but these work perfectly well. And what else? We've got Scott steering damper. The Rotor Garage tower came with this bracket, and it was all set up for the Scott's damper, a pin for the Scott's damper, but it makes it so that the trim piece that normally lives here doesn't fit. I've got that trim piece. You'd have to modify it to make it work, and I didn't care about it. It doesn't bother me that it's not on there, but if it bothers the buyer of this fine motorcycle, they can make it fit if they want to. But the Scott steering damper, that's the one. Man, I live in Florida, and when you're going out a gravel road or a sand road at 60, 70 miles an hour sometimes, I just like the idea. I never had a dirt bike with one of these before, but I have done tank slappers, and I've done tank slappers at high speed once, but only on a street bike, and man, that was a real eye-opener. But I'm old. I don't want to crash and break bones and stuff, so I put a steering damper on there. It's got these little brake bleeders from Motion Pro, not brake bleeders, fork bleeders, so that these get pumped up, you get air compressed in there, and periodically as you're riding, whenever you come to a stop, you can just press that down and it'll bleed off air. That's a cool little piece, and they're little teeny things, so they're non-obtrusive. This bike has KTM's, the OEM crash bars. I see some that don't have this bar. I know that this makes it a lot stronger, so I liked these better. So I put those on there. It's also got KTM factory carbon fiber case protectors here. So one on this side and one on the clutch side. And I put this Vanash countershaft sprocket cover on here because I actually had a bike at one time with magnesium cases where dirt and mud packed in there, and it actually broke the case out. Maybe you've seen that too, but I just thought that was a good idea. The one that comes on the bike is kind of it's plastic. It probably would do the job just fine, but I thought this was kind of trick, so I put that on there. I replaced the foot pegs with these ones from Vanash. These are stainless steel, and they're really aggressive. They're wider and longer than the factory pegs, but they're a lot more aggressive than some. The teeth are nice and sharp. You really grip. And also from Vanash, I got this Molecule Motorsports skid plate. This thing, and look how thick that is. That's UHMW. UHMW is ultra high molecular weight. It's like, they make cutting boards and stuff out of it. It's one piece. It's not multiple pieces welded together or something like that. It's a super plastic, so it's slippery. It'll go right over rocks and that kind of stuff. And it's bulletproof. This bike is set up for Kriega luggage. These are Kriega. You would have foot pegs here if you had buddy pegs, but this is for the straps on the Kriega luggage I used. It's got a Vanash, this little pad that makes the end of your kickstand bigger. I get on the bike. This is a tall bike, and so I get on by having the thing on the stand most of the time, and I step on this peg, throw my other leg over. So I don't want this sinking into soft dirt or into asphalt. If the asphalt's really hot, I've actually seen bikes fall over from that. They'll probably not one this light. Anyway, I thought that was a good idea, so I put that on there. On the other side here, you can see the other case protector, the other side of this. This is cool. The skid plate also comes up, and it protects the rear brake master cylinder here, and it also comes up under the shock linkage on the bottom to protect that. Here's the KTM carbon fiber case protector on there, and I put this heavier duty brake pedal on there. The one that comes on the bike's pretty thin actually, and I've seen pictures of some of them that were, they just pretzel up when you hit stuff. I have broken and bent shift levers and brake pedals in the past, so I thought, well, I'm going to put this heavy duty one on here. Hopefully it'll, stand up better than the stock one. This one also has an X-Trig preload adjuster on the shock. You can just put an 8mm socket here, and you can dial in preload, so you can adjust your sag if you normally ride with X amount of weight, but this week you're going to ride with more weight because you got 30 pounds of camping gear or something, and you need to change your preload. It's a real pain getting to the preload adjuster on this shock, the stock one, but with this you can do it with a socket, and you can just crank the preload in and get the sag where you want it. The bike is set up for this KTM paddock stand, which will go with the bike, and it's got brand new TKC 80 tires front and back. I've had other tires on the bike, but I wanted to put new tires on it to sell it, and I thought, well, I'm just going to put the OEM stock tires on it. They're good for most people. They're going to be perfectly fine. I think they're good tires, actually. They're really good for road use, better than some of the more aggressive off-road tires. And I think that Continental considers them to be, I don't know if they're considered to be 80-20 or 70-30, but they're good tires. I figure if the KTM engineers, that's what they went with, hey, that's a ringing endorsement. You can see the bike has a Wings exhaust. This thing saved, I think it was like 7 pounds. I weighed it when I put it on. It doesn't have a catalytic converter like the stock unit, so not only is it a lot lighter, but it also doesn't run nearly as hot. You see pictures of things where, they're melting back here. People have to put brackets over them so they don't burn through their luggage. This one, you don't have that problem, but with the stock one, that's why people remove them. This one has the quiet kit. I figure, why piss off my neighbors? It's got a seat concept seat. This is a little wider and flatter back here. So if you're going to be on the road for a little while and you want to kind of move back and forth on the seat, I had, with the Kriega luggage, you can see where the saddlebag thing went across the seat here. So you still have lots of seat available even when you're loaded up with luggage. I would put a Kriega bag back here on the rack and have Kriega bags on the side. I have the Kriega bags in both the 12-liter bags and the 18-liter bags. That's what, on this Tusk rack, that's what these are for as well. So the Kriega goes over the seat, straps on down there, and then it's got straps that clip here, and you pull them tight, and it's real quick and easy to put those bags on and off. They are available for sale. If somebody wants to pay extra, I'm not going to include them with the bike because they were fairly expensive, and I can sell them on eBay. But I will leave these on here. They'll go with the bike, and of course these things too, because they're not worth anything to anybody unless they want to put a Kriega bag on there. It's got the tail tidy from Rottweiler. This thing has integrated LED turn signals, tail light, and brake light. This thing, it gets a bunch brighter when you hit the brakes. It gets rid of, it had like these blinkers, and it had this big plastic, fender that came down, and a license plate bracket and whatnot. And I just think it looks tricker with that tail tidy on there. And then if we take the seat off, there are a couple changes. One is also from Rotter Garage is this tray. You can see that it holds a fair amount of stuff. I carried the spare tube. I carried some other stuff here. This stuff is all just thrown in here so I don't forget to give it to the new owner. This is the OEM toolkit. There's some spark plugs in there, and spare tube and some master link or two. These are the, oh, it has bar risers. This is a bar riser set. It's got different height level or different thickness spacers, but I put them on here because I found that especially on steep downhills, I just wanted the bars a little bit taller, and so it's got whatever that is. It's, you know, half an inch to me, but it's probably 13 millimeters or whatever it is, 12 millimeters, I'm not sure. But this is handy having this storage. Ordinarily, there's an air filter here. It's a paper air filter. It's like an air box. And I took that off when I did the Rotor Garage tower. I also did this storage because I like this idea of this nice big storage compartment right there. It's easy to get to. You just take the seat off. It does get dirty in here. Everything that's in here is going to get dirty, but you know, it's perfect for storage of lots of stuff. And of course, because you take that filter off, now I converted it to this foam filter instead of the paper filter. So it's got this foam filter with this little boot on it, and I've got several of the elements that will go with the bike as well. And then one more thing in here, you can't see it under the ECU here, but there's a NOCO lithium battery under here, and that thing saves 5 pounds on this bike. The stock battery versus a lithium battery, and I wanted a good one because sometimes cheap batteries, lithium batteries, can catch fire because they don't have good electronic management. You know, like I wouldn't buy something on Amazon unless it was, you know, I was buying a brand that I knew. But this is it's a NOCO battery, so it's a good battery. It's a brand that, for people that know about NOCO, it's a very respected brand. Also, I have this side stand dongle from Vanash. I've never used it, but it's here. I don't leave it on the bike, but I leave it with the bike. So if I get out and need it, I have it. The deal is that you've got this little electronic sensor back here that senses when the stand is up. If you put the stand up, it'll run, but if you drop the stand down, it kills the bike. And people get out, sometimes they'll knock this sensor off, hit it on a rock or something, and that's it. They can't start the bike. So what this dongle does is you plug it in. There's a connector. There's a connector in here, and you where this sensor plugs in, and you just plug that dongle into that sensor, and it tricks the bike into thinking that the kickstand is up, and if that sensor is damaged, so that you can get out of the woods. Otherwise, you can be screwed. People end up towing their bikes out of the woods because they've knocked that sensor off there. I'm selling a couple other things. It's got this Vanash billet fuel filler on there. I like that just because the stock one needs a key. The older style ones had a problem where dirt that fell down in here could drop into the tank when you took off the cap. They addressed that problem, but still you needed a key with the stock one, and I didn't want to have to, you know, mess with the key in this just to open it up and check the fuel level. It does have it's not a very full-featured dash, this thing, but it does have a reserve level, you know, indicator on the fuel, but it doesn't have a fuel gauge that tells you how much fuel is in it. Also, the bike is set up for my weight. According to Slavens, KTM usually sets bikes up, suspension up for 170-ish pound rider. I'm about 220, and I was always carrying 20 pounds on this when I was not camping. 20 pounds, just, you know, tools and first aid and spare tubes and, you know, etc. And so I ordered shock springs or fork springs and a shock spring from Slavens and put those in. It will ship with the originals. So if you're lighter and you don't need as much as stiff a shock or springs as I do, then you can put those in. One other thing, because I changed both the exhaust and the induction, the air filter, I had the bike, the ECU flashed, and it was flashed by a place in Stuart, Florida called WMR, which is a big KTM dealer. They're all into race and off-road, and so they did an ECU flash on it so that it would run properly with those changes to the exhaust and induction. So anyway, it's a great bike. I'm just old, and I don't live where the mountains are, and so it's going to go.